I want to take a few minutes to talk about something important that's quietly unfolding in healthcare. And I want to do it without politics, without panic, and without sides. I recently read a well-researched piece published on Popular Rationalism written by an independent science and policy writer. He was looking at the recent developments around vaccine policy, safety standards, and pharmaceutical decision making. I'm going to link the article so you can read it for yourself. But what stood out to me wasn't outrage. It was pattern recognition. The article outlines how certain vaccine programs are being paused or discontinued, not because the science suddenly disappeared, but because the cost, liability, and regulatory scrutiny have changed. In other words, when the financial and legal environment shifts, decisions shift too. And this should matter to all of us. Here's why. Modern medicine often tells the public that decisions are made purely on science, but in reality, medical decisions exist at the intersection of biology, economics, policy, and incentives. And that doesn't mean anyone or any organization has to be malicious or dishonest for problems to arise. What it means is that these systems will behave according to what they reward. If safety studies are narrow, they produce narrow answers. If liability is shielded, accountability weakens. If profit is disconnected from long-term outcomes, trust erodes. None of this is political. That's how systems work. That's how systems think. One of the most important themes in the article is how safety is defined and evaluated, because many products are declared safe based on limited endpoints, short timelines, or population averages, all while vulnerable subgroups, long-term effects, or cumulative exposures may not be fully explored. And this isn't something unique to vaccines. We've seen the same pattern with pharmaceuticals that are later withdrawn, environmental exposures that were later acknowledged as harmful, and medical guidelines that have later been reversed. History shows us all of this clearly. Medicine evolves. That's not a flaw, that's a reality. And the problem arises when certainty is overstated, dissent is discouraged, or questions are framed as dangerous instead of necessary. When that happens, trust collapses. It's not because people are anti-science, but because they are pro-truth, and they are willing to open their eyes and acknowledge that so much of what we've been doing has not been working as promised. Here's the part that matters to me as a clinician. Healthcare should never require blind faith. It should invite informed consent, intellectual humility, and an ongoing review. People deserve to understand what is known, what is assumed, what is unknown, and who bears the risk when assumptions turn out to be wrong. This is not anti-medicine. This is medicine in practice. At Vital Force Naturopathy, this is the approach that I take to healthcare. I'm not going to pretend that medicine is static. We're not going to outsource responsibility entirely to some institution, and we're not going to shame people for asking questions about their bodies or the interventions that are offered to them. I believe real health progress requires transparency over reassurance, curiosity over compliance, and outcomes over ideology. Because here's the uncomfortable truth we have to face as a country. We spend more on healthcare than any industrialized nation, yet we remain among the sickest. Chronic disease is rising, dependency is increasing, and meanwhile, through all of this, pharmaceutical and political institutions continue to grow wealthier. That doesn't mean medicine has no value. It means the model deserves scrutiny. We can honor the power of modern medicine and demand better safety standards. We can support innovation and insist on accountability. We can protect public health and protect individual autonomy. These are not opposing values. They are the foundation of ethical care. If we're going to move forward in a healthier direction, it won't be through certainty or silence. It will be through transparency, courage, and a willingness to revise what we thought we knew. That's how trust is rebuilt. That's how medicine improves. That's how we stop repeating the same costly mistakes. So stay curious, stay empowered, and pursue health always with honesty, not ideology. I'm Dr. Swanz. Thanks for watching.